testimony is dedicated to Jesus Christ, the greatest Savior of all time.
Hi, it's your brother Dennis again. Um, another one again. I'm getting a question from friends, from a lot of people, like, how did I get delivered? After the prophecy, after my sister sent me the prophecy that came through from Prophet P. Mwanza. So I'm going to just say Prophet P. Mwanza because I'm trying to protect everyone, until the right time comes. Yes. So how did I get delivered? Did I travel from Sesheke to Lusaka to get prayed for and I got delivered, or what happened, right? So without wasting much of your time, let's dive into it and I'll tell you exactly what happened and how I got delivered. First and second, I didn't even travel at all, and to make matters worse, my finances were scattered at this point, and this is just what I was asking God, like, God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get delivered and things like that, And to make matters worse, again, this is the time that I was most needed at work because for manpower issues, it was a time where, like, I was even on leave, but then I was recalled back to work because of manpower issues, you know what I mean? So I couldn't travel at all. And it just happened like that, So what happened is that a few days later, when I was in this pain, a few days later, it happened that I had a dream. And in this dream, I saw myself that I was in Namibia. And this is a time that we lived at the border. Our house was just near the border between Zambia and Namibia, which is Katima Mulilo. So I saw myself in Namibia and I was lost. And I was looking for a way back to come back home into Zambia, to come back home, just like the lost son in the Bible. And it happened that in that dream, I reached a point where I found this house that looked like a clinic and also looked like a church. So when I found this house, I found one man standing just next to this house, and I asked him to say, uh, you know, um, I was lost and I was looking for a way to go back to my country, which is Zambia, And remember in the dream, I told you that I used to see myself going to far places that I did not know where I was going, either by boat, either by bus, and all those kind of things. So, and this man that I found on this church that looked like a clinic as well, like a church, you know what I mean? I told him to say I was looking for a way to go back to my country in Zambia, So as I was talking to him like that, I felt pressed and I asked him if there was a toilet there, and he showed me the room where the toilet was. So as I was in the toilet, I was standing and, as I was in the toilet, I was telling him, while he was standing outside, like on the door, I was telling him to say, I'm looking also for a man of God and things like that, you know what I mean? And the man told me to say, he was actually a man of God, And so I was excited when he told me that. So when I finished doing what I was doing, in the toilet, because I was praised. So when I came outside, I found that the man had disappeared and he wasn't there. But when I came outside, I saw the way to my country, you know what I mean? Like I saw a way to my country, and that's when I started walking towards that way, and I found myself diving outside Namibia and just near my house. And when I reached just near my house, that's how I woke up. And when I woke up, and immediately I knew that I needed a man of God to help me in all these things. And there was no any other person that came to my mind immediately when I woke up. There's no any other person that came to my mind at that time, even if I knew some few men of God, even in Sesheke where we stayed, but only one name came to my heart, to my soul, and that was Apostle Charles Osman, and that was Apostle Charles Osman. So it kept, bothering me, and it was like the whole day. I was just thinking about it the whole day. Say, oh yeah, I think I need a man of God. That's what the interpretation in the dream meant, So the only name that came to me was Apostle Charles Osman, and that's so. The thing, even like I think it was 1 week before I had this dream. Actually, what happened is that I had bumped into Apostle Charles Osman, even at it was at an auto spare shop, and I was buying coolant, and he came through. I'd opened my boot, and he came through at this shop. He was with his wife, who was Mama. He came through at this shop, and he told me actually to say, "Oh, that coolant that you're putting in your car, aren't you supposed to mix it with water?" But because I was in so much pain at that time, and I was in so much stress, and I think I didn't even answer, I wasn't even friendly, I didn't even answer him friendly at that point, and I just told him to say, no, this is how I always put my stuff and stuff. I drove off, and I drove out of Sesheke in the outskirts just to have some fresh air because I was in so much pain, you know. So I remembered even when I woke up from that dream to say, wow, I had bumped into this man just, a few days ago. This could be a connection or something, And I also remembered one thing that back in 2017 or something, or 2017, somewhere there, I had actually arrested his driver because he had a taxi driver that was working for him. So I had arrested his driver. I was working under orders and arrested his driver because his driver had trespassed on a place that he wasn't supposed to pass through, and he answered uh, um, someone senior than me rudely. So I was working under orders, So I had gone to even his home, Apostle Charles Osman, back in 2017, and I had arrested the driver right at his place, So even after I thought about all these things, I was like, wow, this alone could have kept me away from calling him. I was like, is he even going to help me if he, because I had arrested his driver back then. Maybe he still remembers these things, and this alone could have kept me away from, calling him and going to other men of God. But still, I was bothered. My soul was still bothered. I was still telling me, say, go to that man, remove your pride, go to that man, And that's the time I asked for his number for my wife because my wife knew him. And that's how I went to his place. I called him, and yeah, he was very friendly to me. I told him it's Dennis, and he was very friendly to me. And he told me, no, you can come to my place. And that's how I went to his place. So when I went to Apostle Charles Osman's place, he welcomed me very well. We were in his sitting room, and I told him my story. And funny enough, even before I told him my story, he was like, you know what? Actually, even when we met at that auto spare shop, I had dreams about you before, and I was praying for you. So it's like he wanted to tell me something there, but I wasn't friendly at that time, and that's how it passed me there, So to me, it was actually already, clarified that this was a connection already, And he told me, you're not the only one who's into this situation, and you're not the only one I've helped with such kind of story, And this is the thing I want to tell everybody out there, sometimes you think your problem is unique and people don't know about it, and that kind of thing, and you can't tell people about it. Believe me, there's nothing new under the sun, all these things are just common to man, you know what I mean? God, whatever problem you have, God is saying all these are common to man. These things have happened before, just talk to somebody, seek help from somebody, don't hide your problem, because the more you hide it, the more the devil torments you, the more he makes you feel like there's no help from anyone. This is how Apostle Charles Osman welcomed me, and he told me one thing which is very important that men of God should perform. He told me one thing to say, I don't perform exorcism, and I can't just pray for you right now and you get delivered, because I'm not with you. When you go away, you might just fall back into these kind of sins and everything like that. So he told me we were going to do a 6 months program, a 6 weeks program, you know what I mean? And he was going to run me through the Bible, and we started with John. We started with John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, that kind of thing. So we started in John, and we continued from there. We started meeting and to a point that he felt to say, he told me, sir, I'm actually at Sesheke City Intercessors, the tent of resurrection, which is behind the hospital in Sesheke, the main hospital, just behind it. And he told me, he invited me there. Then I started attending intercession with him. And that's where most of my deliverance came from, intercession. And we started praying a lot. I would go with my wife and all that kind of thing, and that's where most of my deliverance started happening. That's why I can say most of my deliverance occurred. So even as I was attending intercession, I had to stay away from certain things. I had to stay away. Number one, you hear that obedience is better than sacrifice. The word tells you that, obedience is better than sacrifice. So I had to stay away from any sins. I had to stay away from sins. Anything that was leading me into sin, I had to stay away from it. Anything that was making my spirit weak, alcohol, I had to stay away from alcohol, because I can't be praying fire prayers there, and at the same time I'm drinking alcohol, and at the same time I'm seeking deliverance. So the other thing also, I had to stay away, especially from sexual immorality, because sexual immorality is one thing that the devil thrives in, you know. So I had to stay away from all these kind of things that could make me weak, and I had to make sure that I had to live a holy life. And it happened that most of the times when I sleep, I would spit stuff, and I would just wake up in the morning and I would find these deposits of, these things from my mouth and things like that. And I understood, like, wow, the things I was eating from this strange lady's house, these are deposits, be careful, men that eat from these ladies' house, especially married men, eating from this lady's house and stuff like that. Be careful, because you don't know who one could be, you don't know these people anyway, so this is what happened, and this is how my deliverance came about. It took some time. I was being delivered from this point. I had dreams that, I was being washed. There was a shower that was washing me, and I could tell that this shower was washing me, and this about 15 spirits that came out of me and things like that. So just to cut the long story short, this is how I walked this journey with Apostle Charles Osman, who helped me a lot with my wife, and we were free from all these things. Even my child was affected, and I'll come to that point, so that that everything that you do, especially in immorality, affects your children. Even my child was affected. I'll come to that. I'll explain that later in another video. That's another video on its own. And this is how I got delivered. Yeah, through obedience, living a holy life, and through praying constantly, praying at night, praying constantly, because the devil will fight you and make sure that you don't get delivered. And when I stopped alcohol, I was shocked that people that never even liked me, that people that never even bought alcohol for me, would invite me, like, yo, I bought Jameson for you, hey, come and get alcohol for free. Everything just came at a silver plate immediately when I was trying to stop everything. So the devil is very tricky. He knows the things that will keep you into bondage, that won't make you reach your deliverance, and he puts them on a silver plate. Women were just coming to me at a silver plate. It's like, wow, immediately I'm trying to escape all these things. That's when they're coming on a silver plate. So this is how my deliverance came about. And the good news is that even after this, Apostle Charles Osman helped me out, and he trusted me so much, because he was a witness to my testimony, and he trained me, you know what I mean, and he gave me the pulpit, and from there I started leading intercession when he's not around, because he was traveling a lot and stuff like that. So I started leading intercession, and at Sesheke City Intercessors at the Tent of Resurrection, just behind the hospital. So I started leading intercession even up to now, so for the last, I think, 1.5 years, if not 2 years, I've been on the pulpit, and I never took a picture to show anybody, that I'm on a pulpit, and that I preach the word and I share the word. But I always waited for the right time to do it, and I think this is the right time to do it. Yeah.
This testimony is dedicated to Jesus Christ, the greatest Savior of all time.